The Bible records wars that shook empires, armies colliding, cities falling, blood soaking the earth. But buried in a few verses of Daniel chapter 10 is a battle more intense than any fought with swords and spears. This one had no trumpets, no banners, no human witnesses. It raged in the unseen realm for 21 days, and it was so fierce that a messenger sent directly from God's throne was stopped cold, blocked, held back by a dark power the scripture identifies as the Prince of the Kingdom of Persia. Not a man sitting on a throne, but a territorial demon, an ancient spiritual entity with enough strength to contest an angel of the living God. For 3 weeks, they stood locked in combat while heaven's answer hung suspended between worlds. Then Michael arrived, the Archangel, heaven's general, the warrior whose very name is a battle cry. Who is like God? He didn't descend to negotiate or observe. He came to break the deadlock, to shatter the resistance, to clear the path for the message that had been fighting to break through since day one. And when Michael entered that battlefield, everything shifted. The stronghold cracked. The blockade shattered. The answer finally reached Earth. Now here's what makes this story stagger the mind. This cosmic war, this clash between angels and principalities, this 3-week standoff in the spiritual realm, it didn't happen during some prophesied apocalyptic event. It happened because one elderly man in Babylon refused to stop praying. His name was Daniel, and I'm going to tell you this story the way it needs to be told from the inside, because I lived it. I am that Daniel, and what I'm about to share will change how you see prayer, silence, and the invisible war raging around you right now. There's a kind of silence that doesn't bring peace. It's not the quiet of rest or the stillness of contentment. It's the silence that follows when you've poured your soul out to God and heard nothing back. You pray and nothing shifts. You fast and nothing breaks. You cry out and the heavens seem like brass, reflecting only your own desperate voice. Have you been there? I was. By the time this war began, I was old, far older than most men in Babylon lived to be. I had survived exile, interpreted dreams for kings, stood before lions and walked out unscathed, received visions that would have destroyed lesser minds. I wasn't new to this. I had walked with God through decades of impossible situations. And yet, here I was at the end of my life, brought to my knees by a grief I couldn't name and a silence I couldn't break. Something was coming. I felt it in my bones, a foreboding about my people, about promises that seemed suspended between fulfillment and failure. I needed understanding. I needed clarity. I needed heaven to speak. So I set myself to seek God with everything I had left. For 3 full weeks, I ate no pleasant food, no meat, no wine. I denied myself every comfort, just raw hunger and relentless prayer. But the heavens remained silent. Day after day, I woke expecting an answer. Every evening, I collapsed into fitful sleep with nothing but questions. One day became 5, then 10, then 15. My body weakened. My spirit grew desperate. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was suffocating. My mind became my own interrogator. Did I offend him? Is my faith too weak? Has the covenant been severed? Has God forgotten his servant after all these years? 20 days passed. 21 days of emptiness. I was being hollowed out, not just by fasting, but by the crushing weight of divine silence. What I didn't know, what I couldn't have known, was that my silence wasn't silence at all. It was the sound of war. And that war had been raging since the moment I first opened my mouth to pray. The instant my first prayer left my lips on day 1, it pierced the heavens and reached the throne of the Most High. There was no delay there, no divine hesitation, no celestial bureaucracy slowing the process. God heard me immediately, and the response was instantaneous. A glorious messenger, a being of such power and radiance that his presence could unmake mortal flesh, was dispatched with the answer I desperately sought. He descended from the holy places carrying heaven's word, shooting toward earth like a comet on a divine mission, aimed directly at Babylon, at the banks of the Tigris, at me. But he never arrived. Not for 21 agonizing days. And the reason wasn't God's reluctance or my unworthiness. It was war. Between the throne of God and the earth where we live, there exists a realm most never consider. A contested dimension where spiritual powers clash and invisible kingdoms collide. It's not empty space. It's a battlefield, and it's occupied by forces that oppose every movement of heaven toward earth. When the messenger descended with my answer, he entered that space and was immediately intercepted. The Prince of the Kingdom of Persia was waiting. This wasn't some advisor to King Cyrus or a Persian general. This was a principality, one of the high-ranking demons in Satan's hierarchy, a territorial spirit assigned to dominate the entire Persian Empire. His task was to blind kings, corrupt governments, keep God's people oppressed even when earthly decrees said they were free. He was ancient, intelligent, and powerful beyond human comprehension. And when he saw heaven's messenger coming with an answer for me, he moved to block him. The confrontation was immediate and absolute. The Greek text uses a word that means to withstand face to face, to resist directly, to create an immovable opposition. This wasn't a brief skirmish. It was a deadlock. Two immense powers locked in combat, straining against each other in a dimension we can't see. The messenger pushed forward with all the authority of heaven's decree. The Prince of Persia pushed back with all the malice and strength of his dark dominion. And for one day, neither could overcome the other. Then 2 days. Then 5. The battle raged on, invisible to human eyes, but shaking the foundations of the spiritual realm. 10 days passed in this stalemate. 15. 20. A holy angel sent by God himself, carrying a direct answer to a prophet's prayer, was held completely immobilized by a defiant demon. Does that shock you? It should. It reveals the terrifying reality of rebellion in the heavenly places. It shows us that the spiritual war is real, active, and far more intense than most of us ever imagine. And what was I doing during this 3-week cosmic battle? I was praying harder, fasting more desperately. Every tear I shed, every groan that escaped my lips, every whispered, "How long, O Lord?" wasn't vanishing into the void as I feared. My prayers were crossing into that unseen realm, fueling the fight, sustaining the angel who struggled on my behalf. I thought God was ignoring me. In reality, I was a participant in a war I couldn't see. My persistence on earth was supplying strength to heaven's warrior. My refusal to quit, even in crushing silence, was the very thing keeping the angel engaged at the point of conflict. Each day I remained in prayer, I was unknowingly tipping the balance, adding weight to the side of light. This is what I would later understand. Prayer is not passive religious activity. It's a weapon. It's fuel for angelic warfare. It's a declaration that moves heaven to act and forces darkness to respond. When you pray and nothing seems to happen, you may be closer to breakthrough than you realize, because your persistence has engaged the enemy in battle he cannot ignore. On the 21st day, exhausted and hollow, I went to the banks of the great river Tigris. I had almost nothing left. My body was weak. My hope was a dying ember. But I clung to one truth with everything I had. Even if he slays me, yet will I trust him. That was my only foundation, the single thread keeping me from despair. I stood there by the water, my companions nearby, staring at the current, and then without warning, reality split open. One moment I was looking at the river. The next, I was face to face with something that should have killed me instantly. A being appeared before me, clothed in linen, his body gleaming like beryl, his face brilliant as lightning, his eyes blazing like torches of fire. His arms and legs shone like polished bronze, and when he spoke, his voice was like the sound of a great multitude. This was no gentle messenger. This was a warrior of light, a being who had just fought his way through 21 days of spiritual combat, and his presence was overwhelming. The men with me didn't see him, but they felt the terror. A primal dread seized them, bypassing their minds and striking their bodies directly. They scattered in panic, fleeing into the distance, leaving me alone before this overwhelming glory. And I collapsed. Every ounce of strength drained from my body. My face went deathly pale. I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak. I fell forward into the mud, consciousness slipping away, certain I was about to die. In that moment, I understood the fear of the Lord. Not casual reverence, but the bone-deep terror of a mortal encountering the raw power of the divine. I was being unmade. Then I felt a touch. Gentle, yet thrumming with the power that holds galaxies in place. A hand lifted me to my trembling knees. The voice that had sounded like thunder softened, became intimate and firm. "Daniel," he said, and hearing my name steadied something deep inside me. "Man greatly beloved, understand the words I speak to you, and stand upright, for I have now been sent to you." Greatly beloved. Those two words cut through my terror like light through darkness. He didn't start with explanations or apologies for the delay. He started by establishing my identity. In my weakness, in my 21 days of unanswered prayers, in my failure to understand what was happening, I was beloved, not forgotten, not punished, not disqualified. Beloved, if you're reading this from your own season of silence, hear this truth. Your identity in the waiting is not abandoned or rejected. It is greatly beloved. Nothing, not even a 3-week spiritual war, can change that. Then he spoke the words that shattered my understanding of everything. "Do not fear, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words." From the first day. Not day 21 when he finally stood before me. Day 1, the moment I began to pray. The answer was never delayed in heaven. It was launched instantly, dispatched the second my prayer reached the throne. The silence I endured was not God's silence. It was the silence of a battlefield. Every moment I thought I was being ignored, heaven was fighting for me. Every hour I spent questioning whether my prayers mattered. An angel was locked in cosmic combat to deliver the answer. The delay wasn't divine reluctance or my unworthiness. It was warfare. Then came the revelation that unveiled the war. But the Prince of the Kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. There it was, the truth laid bare. A high-ranking demon, a territorial principality ruling over the Persian Empire, had engaged this holy angel in direct combat for 3 full weeks. My prayer had triggered a war in the second heaven, that contested space between God's throne and earthly reality. This is what the Apostle Paul would later write about. "We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." I was seeing it, living it, experiencing the reality that our true battle is never against the people or circumstances we can perceive. The real war is invisible, fought in dimensions we can't access, and yet its outcomes shape everything we experience. But the stalemate couldn't last forever. When the deadlock seemed unbreakable, When the Prince of Persia's resistance appeared absolute, heaven sent reinforcements. The angel continued. I was held there with the kings of Persia until Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. Michael, even the name is a declaration of war. Who is like God? He's not a messenger like the one speaking to me. He's the Archangel, heaven's supreme warrior, the commander of God's armies. Scripture tells us he disputed with Satan himself over the body of Moses. In the book of Revelation, he leads the angelic host to cast the dragon from heaven. When Michael shows up, negotiations are over. He comes when only overwhelming force will suffice. His arrival wasn't subtle. It was the turning point. The Prince of Persia, powerful enough to hold off one angel for 21 days, could not stand against Michael's authority and might. The moment the Archangel entered that battlefield, the balance shifted decisively. The blockade shattered, the stronghold broke, the path cleared, and the word that had been fighting to reach me since day one finally arrived, carried by a warrior who had been through hell itself to deliver it. The angel now stood before me, exhausted from combat but victorious, having finally completed the mission launched 3 weeks earlier. But then he said something that chilled my blood, even as I knelt there receiving this revelation. Do you know why I have come to you? Soon I must return to fight with the Prince of Persia, and when I go, the Prince of Greece will come. The war wasn't over. It was ongoing. The angel would return to that battlefield. Persia would eventually fall, and Greece would rise, and waiting in the wings was another dark prince, another principality assigned to the next empire. My prayer had connected me to something far larger than my personal need for understanding. This was a generational, global, spiritual war over the destinies of nations. It had been raging long before my birth, and would continue long after my death. Behind every empire, every government, every shift in world power, spiritual forces were maneuvering, contesting, fighting to advance or resist the purposes of God. That revelation transformed everything. It meant the chaos we see on earth, wars, upheavals, the rise and fall of kingdoms, isn't just political or economic. There are princes of darkness assigned to territories, and they fight with everything they have to maintain their dominion over nations and blind their rulers. But embedded in that terrifying truth is hope. They can be resisted. They can be fought. They can be overcome. And the weapon that engages them, the force that tips the balance, is prayer, persistent, faith-filled, relentless prayer from people who refuse to quit even when heaven seems silent. So what does this mean for you, right now, wherever you are? It means your silence is a lie. From the first day you set your heart to seek God, your words were heard. The response was immediate. The machinery of heaven moved. If you're in a season of waiting, if you've been praying for days or weeks or months without seeing breakthrough, it doesn't mean God is ignoring you. It may mean your prayer is so powerful, so threatening to the kingdom of darkness, that the enemy has deployed his strongest forces to block your answer. The delay isn't evidence of divine neglect. It's evidence that your prayer matters, that it has rattled something in the unseen realm, that hell itself is scrambling to stop what heaven is sending. You're not waiting for God to act. You're waiting with him while he acts. He's not idle. He's mustering forces, dispatching angels, reinforcing the battle lines. Your persistent prayer is the lifeline connecting heaven's warriors to the point of conflict. Every time you return to your knees despite the silence, every time you whisper his name through tears, every time you choose faith over despair, you're fueling a war in the spiritual realm. You're sustaining the angels who fight for your breakthrough. Don't give up on day 20 when Michael might be descending on day 21. Don't walk away from the riverbank at the exact hour the angel is breaking through enemy lines. Don't mistake fierce, invisible warfare for divine abandonment. I didn't know what was happening during those 21 days. I had no idea that every prayer I whispered was a blow against the forces of darkness, that every tear was ammunition for heaven's warriors, that my stubborn refusal to quit was keeping the angel engaged until reinforcements could arrive. I just kept praying. I kept fasting. I held my ground in the truth that I was beloved, even when I couldn't feel it, even when every circumstance suggested otherwise. And because I didn't relent, I received not only my answer, but a glimpse behind the curtain of all reality. I saw that our struggle is never against flesh and blood. I learned that the real battle rages in the heavenly places. I discovered that faithful, persistent prayer isn't passive religious exercise. It's an active weapon in a cosmic war. Standing by the Tigris, still trembling from the encounter, I understood something that would anchor me for the rest of my days. The unanswered prayer is often the most powerful prayer because it's the one that has engaged the enemy in battle. If your request were insignificant, if your faith were powerless, darkness wouldn't bother to resist. But when hell deploys its princes to block your answer, when the silence stretches so long you wonder if you've been forgotten, that's when you know you're onto something real. That's when you know your prayer has struck at the heart of the kingdom of darkness. That's when you must press in harder, pray longer, stand firmer, because the breakthrough is closer than you think. The angel eventually left. Returning to the battle, he had briefly paused to deliver his message. I watched the space where he had been forever changed, not just by the vision or the words, but by the revelation of what had been happening all along. Heaven heard me on day one. The answer fought to reach me from day one. The silence was never God's indifference. It was the sound of war, and I had been part of it whether I knew it or not. My faithfulness in the dark sustained the light. My prayers in the silence fueled the battle. My refusal to quit kept heaven's warrior engaged until Michael could arrive and shatter the blockade. I'm telling you this story across the centuries because someone needs to hear it today. You, in your season of unanswered prayers and crushing silence, you need to know that you are greatly beloved. Your prayers were heard from the first day. The answer is in motion, even if you can't see it yet. There may be a Prince of Persia blocking your breakthrough, but there is also a Michael, and he knows your case, and he is coming. The war is fierce, more intense than you can imagine, but the victory is certain because our God does not fail, his angels do not surrender, and his promises do not expire. The only question is whether you'll stay in position long enough to receive what heaven is fighting to deliver. Don't give up. Don't walk away. Don't let the silence convince you that you've been forgotten. You haven't. You're greatly beloved, and that truth stands whether you feel it or not, whether you see evidence or not, whether heaven seems near or impossibly distant. Stand your ground. Keep praying. Keep showing up in the secret place. Because in the unseen realm, in that contested space between heaven and earth, your faithfulness is the sound of an advancing army. Your prayers are weapons that break strongholds. Your persistence tips the balance from stalemate to victory. I learned this through 21 days of silence that felt like abandonment, but was actually the sound of heaven going to war on my behalf. Now I'm passing it to you, a word from one who has seen behind the curtain, one who knows what really happens when we pray. The battle is real. The enemy is formidable. The delay can be agonizing. But the victory is assured, and you, beloved of God, are not alone in the fight. The Prince of Persia may be strong, but Michael is stronger. The blockade may seem unbreakable, but heaven's reinforcements are already on the way. So stand, hold your ground, keep the faith, The answer is coming, and when it arrives, you'll understand that every moment of silence was simply the sound of angels fighting to break through. And that makes all the difference. Your prayer has been heard. The answer is fighting to reach you right now. Don't walk away. Subscribe to Bible Behind the Scenes and turn on notifications so you never miss another revelation from the unseen realm. Drop a comment and let me know, what are you believing God for today? Stand firm. Your Michael is coming.